Welcome back to AFTV. Welcome back to our live. I'm back. This time with Turkish. Now, he's just. Did you land today? You land today?
You could call it today. It was the late hours of yesterday. Didn't get home to the early hours of today. So yeah, something like
that. Okay. So Turkish landed late hours yesterday. I landed yesterday, and then jumped straight on a live. There's a lot going on. I opened up social media. It's meltdown. Turkish said. He said something like, "Bro, I've just come back and I'll come back to bullshit." We're gonna get into it. It's gonna be. I see the headline: controversial Madueke bid submitted. I'll start by. I've said this yesterday. Got a lot of heat for it. I know I would. I don't mind Noni Madueke that much, but there's a lot of things around the whole deal that is what's frustrating. He's not obviously a target. I would say.
What don't you mind then?
I think he's a good player. I actually think he's a good player. I don't think he's a bad player at all. That's kind of where I'm at.
So I don't think he's a bad player.
Oh, you don't think he's a bad player? Oh
no, he's not great though, is he?
Yeah, it's not great, but no, he's not even not great. He's just not a bad player. He's not a bad player. But the other players that was linked to is where it gets techie. Players that we've been linked to, and what might fall through because of this might be mad. Now we're gonna get into all of this. People saying get Curtis, and I actually might message him to see if he is available as well. We can have that'll be a good laugh, all of us. But let's start.
It'll be a good laugh. I don't think tonight will be a good laugh. You can. I don't know who you need to add for it to be a good laugh, but yeah.
No, I'll be honest. Online and you as well. This as well had me laughing. So let's just dissect where we're at right now. People in the chat. I'll be honest. Today was supposed to be, as you would have heard from yesterday's show, I was promoting for a call-in show. So we're supposed to do a call-in show. Sadly, today, technical issues and technical issues why we can't really put on this call-in show. So we will make this a community show. This will be a community live. I think it's right to speak to the community today and everyone have their say on what it is that is going on in the Arsenal news. Because yesterday I was not dancing, but metaphorically dancing, celebrating about Gyokeres is coming. Arsenal's in a good place. The mood is sick between the Arsenal fans. We're looking like we're going mad in the transfer window. To today, I was making an official bid for Noni Madueke at 50 million. Now, again, I'm not gonna poo-poo it too much, but I'm gonna explain certain things around it and get everyone's thoughts and feelings. Turkish clearly had strong feelings from the tweet that's on the screen. What the fuck are you man doing? He actually, man said, "What are you doing?" He added Arteta. Like I don't know. Maybe he thought we'd get a retweet or a response.
I don't want to retweet. I just want to read. Just read it.
You just want him to see it, yeah?
Just read it. Someone read it. Just someone.
Now, he obviously tweeted this tweet. He added Arsenal, said stop immediately. Hang up the phone, swallow the SIM card, launch the phone into the abyss, disconnect everything. Number you have dialed has not been recognized, please. So the please full stop is, I think someone commented on that saying, I felt that. Obviously, it's around Noni Madueke saying, listen, let's put him away. So just initial thoughts and things before we go to comments, super chats from that Turkish. You're not happy about this bid. Explain first. Let's just talk about why, and then we can talk about all things around it. I know you've done a video on your channel which had me laughing, but let's just get into it. Let's start with you, and then we'll go to comments, and we'll talk about other things because we're currently negotiating this Gyokeres thing. £5 million is a difference that we're arguing over, but 50 million bids just gone in for Noni Madueke, so it's real. Your thoughts and feelings.
It'd be easier to get the other side of it because I don't understand how anyone can justify this. Like I said, I don't think he's a bad player, but we don't need decent this summer. We don't need, potential this summer. We need, players that are going to make a big impact on the starting 11, and then the players that they dislodge from the starting 11 become the depth that people are using to somehow make this Madueke move make sense. I've never seen so much nonsense, in my life, and every summer is nonsense with Arsenal, much more often than not. But it's a special kind of summer if we're trying to justify this in phase 6, in year 6, in year 21 or year 7 since being so whatever place you want to take it from, just doesn't make sense. He moved to Chelsea for around 30
million, yeah.
He hasn't worked out. So how is he worth nearly double? How have we gone in with an opening bid of 50 M's? Someone make that make sense for me. Because if it was 20 million, I'd say, it's not, surely, I'd still say the Nwaneri contract needs to be, sorted before any move for a right winger. Because, again, another foundation to make this make sense. People say Nwaneri is going to be Odegaard's backup. And And I want someone tell me how this conclusion that Nwaneri all of a sudden will be central without any foundation again doesn't make sense, bro.
Yeah,
because we had ample opportunity.
Yeah, people can't just assume that.
So at the end of the day, even if it was 20 mil, I'd still question it. But 50 mil opening offer, all in, like, come on, we're way off the mark here, especially when it's looking like it's a few million difference for Gyokeres. Get that one done. Especially when Rodrygo again tonight on the bench for the 5th game running. Not only that, not only is Rodrygo on the bench, the person that's playing instead of him, Arda Güler, is shutting it down. He's arguably been their best player especially in the knockout stages of this tournament. So the likelihood that he's available come next week or tomorrow if they go out tonight is high. So why are we moving so fast with Madueke? It's like we only move fast with Chelsea. Do we have something like Conke's and Bowley's cousins or something?
No, real
talk, I don't understand.
I don't know. They say in the tweets we got a good relationship with Chelsea. You saw Fabrizio. That's what
we shouldn't have a good relationship with Chelsea.
I hear that.
Fuck Chelsea.
I hear that.
Why have we even got we should even have a bad relationship? Fuck them. That's it. That's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Do you know what? In the last 20 years, we've benefited from no moves with Chelsea have benefited us in the past 20 years. None. You could probably stretch that further, but none. So I just don't understand it, bro. On top of that, you're seeing a Dingra move for 20 mil ish.
Yeah. You see,
if you're and even that, I shouldn't entertain that. But if you're telling me, bro, it's Madueke or Adingra, who you taking? I'll probably take Adingra, if I'm honest. Why not at 20 mil? If that's what it's coming to, why not? But we're going 50 M's on Madueke. None of it makes sense because I don't even see him as the character that Mikel likes. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't think he's more of the like in terms of playing style. Am I wrong in saying he's not too far off of Well, actually, Nicolas Pepe was even far more technical than he quality-wise.
But I like Noni's directness. I know there's a lot of people that are...
Pepe was direct, but Arteta never, ever entertained that.
And do you know what? That Curtis brought up yesterday, and he was saying that it doesn't seem like an Arteta player. He definitely doesn't seem like an Arteta player. I just don't think he's a bad player. I think he's quite direct. He can use both feet. Obviously, he does that cut in from the right and use his left foot to try and bend it. But even still, I don't think on the right would be the position. He's covered for Saka. He's going to play on the right. He could play on the left potentially. It's a weird move that Arsenal are going for him. I'm just not angry of the quality of the player. That's the thing. I know you said he's not a bad player either. I know you've kind of mentioned that. People are saying, why am I laughing this? And sometimes I enjoy. I'm a happy person. It is what it is. I think there's a lot to dissect.
I'm a happy person.
Yeah, I know. This is just stress. I just think
I'm a happy fucking person. Tell them, because I'm so happy. Life blessed. But bro,
the only that's what I just think. Like some of it just where it's just going too far. Like I saw people have obviously got tagged in the group just now. There's a petition. People have gone on to a petition for actually the signed petitions. There's obviously there's a hashtag going around now as well about no Noni or no Madueke, whatever. I saw Arsenal fans screenshot on Twitter DMing him like, how don't you think you're basically a mid player, you're crap, don't you dare come. Like all that to me is too far. It's too far. Yes, if you don't want to play, that's fine. You can say your opinion on your Twitter and stuff, but some things I just think for what this is, the outrage for me is over the top. You might be frustrated with Arsenal going for Noni Madueke for things like they didn't want to pay 77 million, which is a tweet from Ian. There's a guy called Ian on Twitter. You don't want to pay 77 million for Sesko. Don't want to pay extra 5 million for Gyokeres. Don't want to pay 68 million for Eze. I just want to spread it across 3 installments, but you want to bid for Noni Madueke 50 million. That to me, fair. You can question that and be like, how does that all align? But there must be, I don't know what Arteta. It doesn't seem like an Arteta signing at all. It doesn't to me. But I just
why not when you look at the caliber of attackers we bought under his own, let's segment it out a bit because defenders cool, midfielders 50-50 and attackers
it's been terrible. This is the thing. The outrage I can't believe the outrage is more on Madueke than Kai Havertz. I know it's going to be there's Havertz higher than there, but I think it was more unjustifiable bringing in Kai Havertz in for the money we brought him in for and the salary he was on compared to what we're seeing for Noni Madueke, in my opinion. It's the
most argued against moves since Havertz. The thing about Havertz, it came after our first title challenge where, you know, we've got a bit of a spring in our step. And by we, I don't mean me, because you know what I thought about Havertz from the beginning. But in general, the club, the fans had a spring in their step. First title challenge in how long? Real, you know, title challenge. It looked like, you know, we should have won it at one point, considering how, you know, often we was top of that league that year, 200 and something days. So the Havertz stuff was lost in and amongst the Rice stuff. The first title challenge on the. Don't get it twisted. It's as bad, if not, you know, when you look at the Havertz cost in total with the wages still, you know, on the books, and you look at a couple of players, including Jesus, and you're looking at us again jumping through, because that's what it is, bro. You know, we've got a certain budget again that we have to make, you know, do with. That's all these men are doing, because. How can you have
50 million's wrong though? If that's the like it's I don't know. It feels there's other avenues. I'm sure you could have put that money somewhere else for another player. It depends. Like the business we've done so far, Turkish. I'm sure you'd agree that it's to me sensible. The Kepa one is a backup goalkeeper. We need a backup goalkeeper, regardless if he's ex-Chelsea or not, whatever. It's to me, it's a sensible sign. For the price we're going for 5 million, makes sense. Norgard, again, captain, 31. Jorginho's gone, same experience. We actually paid less for Norgard than Jorginho. Listen, don't get it twisted. Jorginho, probably a better quality because he's got actual experience instead of age experience. Cool, I get that. That's fine. But they're replacing who's leaving. Who else have we signed? Martin Zubimendi, yeah, we obviously know he's replacing, you know, the player that's just left in that position there in the midfield. So all that's left is obviously, well, all that's left for me is a striker. We haven't not really replacing a striker. We just need a striker. But Noni's doesn't seem like he's replacing anyone. They might be, people are saying, yeah, Saka backup. Again, the only reason why it's confusing is because the Nwaneri thing. I know, we heard yesterday that he's actually looking to put pen to paper. It's now progressing positively. That's what I saw. I don't know if you saw that yesterday.
And that would make this make even less sense than it would if Nwaneri isn't.
Yeah,
I'm still fingers crossed that Nwaneri does, because that's a talent we have on our hands. And to be honest, I'd like to see him more centrally. So if the unfounded, you know, talk of him being central next season comes about, then I'm for it, right? I'm for that. Yeah. But it still doesn't excuse the outlay for Madueke when we need a left winger, and more importantly, a striker of equal importance. So when I know what the club's about and they follow these letters like it's the law, yeah, PSR, FFP, and so on, I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of weeks if we're hearing, all right, you know, the purse strings are a bit squeezed right now, you know, PSR, FFP, we've got to sell. And then you look around at who we can sell. It's probably Zinchenko. And after that, we ain't got nothing. So I don't want to head down that road again. It's not the first time. People are saying, oh, you know, the outrage is not necessary and this and that. Listen, the other day when
pop comments up as well, because
when Gyokeres was linked, I was happy about that, because that, as much as it carries a big risk because he is the Portuguese league, we've gone out there and got, you know, probably the best available striker on the market, right? We could have potentially tested the waters and rocked the boat on maybe an Isak and so, but in terms of realistically available, we've probably gone and got the best one or the most intriguing one. Man can get behind that, even with the risks it entails. And there's no entitlement to win the league, because you look at City, you look at Liverpool, what they got. We still haven't got what they got. You can't get what they got until you win something, because that experience comes with winning things. So Gyokeres, I can get behind that. I understand that. But Madueke, when we still need, you look at it, Eze's outlay, 20 mil over 3 years, 10 mil more than Chelsea are rejecting for Madueke. Come on.
It's perfect. Eze for me it should be the.
And they're not the same player.
No. Well, Eze plays on the. Eze can play. I'm not saying.
Yeah, but how can it be all of a sudden? Even Athletic are saying, yeah, this is why I don't. These men are just always talking some type of shit. Madueke, Eze, or Rodgers. Rodgers and Eze are different to Madueke.
Massively.
So how can that be a list, bro?
Massively. And if I'm honest, if I'm being honest, if you list them three in order, it's Eze, Rodgers, Madueke. Listen, that's I don't know. For me, I'm quite shocked by it. I know people. I got this comment here says TV1 says it's 100% an Arteta signing. What are you talking about, Cecil? I'm talking about like him arguing. Me and Kurt spoke about this yesterday. Him arguing to take the penalty with the players, literally kicking up a fuss. The way he is. Again, you linked him to Pepe. A little bit they're similar in some senses, but Pepe was not an Arteta guy. Clearly, Arteta did not rate Pepe. Noni has that that air to him. I didn't really rate Pepe, to be fair, funny enough, and I actually rate Noni Madueke. I think I just like his directness. I think we missed that a little bit, but however, there's other players that can bring that as well.
There's two players that are kind of. If I look at the last 5 years, 6 years, yeah, there's two players. I mentioned one, Pepe, in terms of maybe playing style, right? And Oba in terms of maybe character. And both players either fell out with and/or were not favored by our manager, right? So how does this make sense? And I agree that I think it's an Arteta signing, because surely Berta can't be coming from Madrid knowing all about Madueke. Like, you didn't come in for Madueke, brother. Edu could have stayed for that. So for me, it's looking like an Arteta signing. Regardless of it all, he's our manager. He is our manager, and we saw in All or Nothing, 4-man disagreed with him on Oba, right? This is 4 years ago. 4-man disagreed with him on Oba 3 years ago. They still run through that decision because of him. His word was the only one and the final one. So why am I to believe 3 years later, when his contract's been quadrupled in that time, just 8 months ago, he's got less responsibility in this window? How can that make sense?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm stuck on the Noni Madueke who's signing it, is because I could probably say that about every signing that we've made so far. The Kepa would probably be Akani and Naki, or whatever it is. The goalkeeper coach is one potentially, but the Norgards, we identified Martins of many back in last January, so that could be more. You could say they're all Arteta's signings if that's the case. If you're going by that perspective, because you're maybe Andrew Alberta's coming here, and he may not know so much about Noni Madueke, or he might. I think it's an interesting one. It's very confusing. It's very confusing why we've gone so quick on him. I just think we've gone quick on, like, but getting it done though. Like you said, the Club World Cup's on, and you'd expect business not to be done until after that. We even spoke about it yesterday. Me and Curtis on live was like the Rodrygo stuff might pick up or flatline once post the Club World Cup, but she clearly doesn't really matter, because this Noni Madueke stuff is progressing rapidly, rapidly.
It doesn't matter. It's all a cushion, a softener for the blow, or for the weight, or the whatever it is we're trying to make excuses for. You can talk to Rodrygo's camp. He's obviously unhappy with the situation. He was unhappy with it at the end of last season. Surely unhappier now, considering he's playing less. Obviously, albeit Club World Cup, but he's essentially lost his place to a player that, again, I'm gonna say he's probably been their best player over the last 2-3 games in that competition. So of course you can talk to agents, but we agreed a 5-year deal with Madueke before we even talked to Chelsea. So I don't even, back in the day that was called tapping up. So I don't really know when the rules changed and all that, but it is what football is, what it is now. So this whole Rodrygo stuff, listen, it's a pipe dream, right? I said 2 years ago he will be available. I said last year he will be available. Finally, he's become available. No, Kvarat was available in January, right? And then we just let that slide. That's a market opportunity. We were told market out of a manager's mouth, market opportunities. Yeah, that was the biggest market opportunity in January in a position we need, a profile we needed, and we didn't even entertain it. In fact, Liverpool entertained it a little. A team that was already galloping towards the league title, a team that already had threats from the wings. We didn't entertain it. We were market up. What was a market opportunity? What, Aston Villa offering Watkins for 60, us saying 40, then saying, no, we're good. It's all it's all a game. Then we'll wait until July, PSR, because that's the cutoff date and all of that. And then it's Madueke linked.
It's mad. Because the Ollie Watkins thing, you're spot on there. I spoke to his agent a couple of weeks ago, and they said, it's the money they don't want to spend. Arsenal don't want to spend. That's why he's not going to come, because they don't want to spend the money. But like you said, that's the most baffling thing about this is, I'll keep saying it, I don't think he's a bad player. Noni Madueke, I think the outrage is way too high for what it is.
But you got to separate enough. This ain't nothing against Madueke. I don't have to think he's a good player. I don't have to think he's a great player. Like, he has to deal with that opinion. He's a baller, right? That's not abuse or disrespect, and it's nothing against him.
That's fine.
It's nothing against him. It's the club. We're going for him. It's the club that's up, it's questionable right now. It's nothing against Noni. Like, he didn't call us and say, "Yo, can you try and sign me?" We are actively trying to do that.
Yeah, the bid for 50 million. That's what I was getting onto. I said that is what is the most baffling thing about is that I really want Eze, yeah, 60 million release clause. I know I guess 10 million is a lot. I can't say 10 million is not a lot of money because it is a lot of money, but it's like that difference. You've officially made a bid for 50 million. That 10 million surely could be made up somewhere, whether it's a player sale, whatever, to try and bring in Eze, who seems to me a better fit all around. That left side can be covered. And then we talk about Odegaard backup. I think Eze is the perfect Odegaard backup, if not even Odegaard competition, in my opinion. I need to ask you a couple questions. I need to go super chats as well because they're flying in. Thank you everyone for your super chats. And we'll spend time reading through them because, like I said, this is a community show, this live. But firstly, before this bid went in Turkish, what would you have rated the window at that stage for the signs we've made? I know not
what Kepa and Zubimendi.
No, but and Norgard for what it is, just for what it is. Basically, I'm trying to get for you. And with all the rumors that are going around, the players linked to the Gyokeres seems like it's progressing. Whereabouts were you or the window at that stage? Were you happy as an Arsenal fan at that stage? Surely.
Norgard kept nah.
Even with
Kepa and Zubimendi.
No, I know. Not yet. But then obviously we're not hearing about Gyokeres is probably going to get done quite soon. Like I think a lot of
the Gyokeres is something. Yeah. But if you're just asking me about Norgard, Kepa, and Zubimendi, I mean, I like the Zubimendi signing. Interesting, intriguing, good age, good experience, good quality. Can change it up, slow it down, speed it up. I like it. But essentially, he's coming in to replace. We haven't even touched in on any of those names. Don't touch in on improving that starting 11 from what it was, especially in the area we need final third. So to be honest, if you a rating just off the back of those 3 signings, it's probably a 2.
Okay, so I see a lot of people in the comments saying 2. It's mad. The reason why I brought that up was because I felt like, especially me, the mood from what we've seen at first when the window opened, and like I said before, Man City and all these teams were making business. Man City, Man United, Liverpool. I was angry at how slow we was moving. Then it felt like everything just started to pick up. It was linked to people, was getting deals done, people getting signed. Doesn't really matter what order you sign players, in my opinion, as long as you get it done. And it felt like, Gyokeres is coming in at some point, hopefully next week, fingers crossed, plus the signings we've made to replace the signs that are leaving. I was like, this is good. Everything's moving in the right way. So I was kind of happy as a fan. Then the Noni Madueke stuff came out. Again, it frustrated me because of the fact of the other players that we could be signing, the likes of Eze, which I would love to get. Rodrygo, I don't see happening, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, Eze definitely, could also obviously go to
Tottenham. You don't see it happening, bro, because of Arsenal and the way we have been. And that's a big problem I have in general. People need to understand these owners came in at a time when us going for a Rodrygo would have been a very realistic option because of where we was when they came in to buy us. That's why I don't let up on them. Because I don't care about full ownership, half ownership, or part ownership. They've been in the boardroom for a lot longer than the 6-7 years they told us to be excited.
But do you not look at Berta, though? Berta's come in to kind of rectify that and put pressure on the things that you seem frustrated about from the owners and whatnot. His job is to kind of come in and get the right, I'm assuming, get the right signings. That's the role you're taking up. This is like you're replacing Edu, who, yeah, people can question, still didn't get, you can argue and say he didn't get the job done to your liking. But if Berta's coming in, surely you expect him to get, the job done. The pressure should really look at him. And I suppose the manager
like the job, it looks like the job is Noni Madueke.
Because
he's getting the job done.
But the owners don't know about Noni Madueke. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's a Berta or Mikel Arteta problem.
Of course, but these things come and go, and no one's ever held accountable. Is what I'm saying. Do you get it? Right. It's not just Berta's come in and we're going for Madueke. We've historically gone from Madueke's more so than Rodrygo's. Remember when we went Lille for Gervinho while the other guy, the top guy, is going to Chelsea? That's just one example of many I can say about how we always go for the maybe this guy can be the guy rather than this guy is the guy option. So yes, Berta's come in. Zubimendi's a top deal. We're looking at Gyokeres, in my opinion, would be the pick. Okay, cool. I look at Arteta as well because I can't just blame Arteta if it's Madueke and then give all the praise to Berta if it's Gyokeres. It's a team. But at the end of the day, if I own a business, right, who's my highest paid employee, right? Who is it? That is the most important person in my business to me, right? That's who I check in with. That's who runs the ship, and that's who is the man, the overseer, right? And Mikel is the highest paid employee. So yes, Berta's come in. Can I say if he's got 30% control or 70% control? I can't really say.
Yeah, we don't
right?
know.
But I can go by wages and say, I'm sure the man getting paid 13 million a year, top 3 highest paid in the world, has and been here for 5 years with all eggs thrown into that basket, given that contract after 2 second place finishes, not 2 Premier League titles or 2 major after 2. I'm sorry, but again, the foundation to say it's more on Berta than anything, again, it's a very weak foundation to be dying on, because there's no evidence to say that. In fact, all the evidence points at really Arteta is the man that's making these decisions, and Berta's come in as the better facilitator of these wants and needs than Edu was. The one that's been there, done it experience-wise. Again, even at Atletico, as much as I've looked at his resume at Atletico, I'm sure Diego Simeone, with the standing he has over there and the clout, he would make the final decision, but they'd do it together, right? But the final decision comes down to him. So if you don't want someone, say you don't want that player. That's it. I don't feel like we're force feeding players now to the manager. It doesn't feel like that to me, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. He's had a lot of options this window so far, and Berta seems to play 2 players against each other to get the signings over the line. For you, if Ethan signs his renewal, do you still think we still going for Noni? Because we've made the bid, so I don't know,
bro,
what happens here.
I don't go for Noni regardless of the Ethan contract. I'll be real with you. It just doesn't make sense, because again, you could go for the cheaper Adingra. If we're talking backup here, 20 mil, 25 mil for a backup is fine, right? Maybe I think Bakayoko is even maybe just north of that, right?
Yeah,
so there is options out
Bakayoko
there at less. Yeah,
back.
you've mentioned them before. So there's options out there for less for a backup. But Arsenal spending 50, 55, 60 M's on a backup. Are we kidding ourselves? When do we do that? We paid 65 for Havertz, and we're still trying to fit him into that starting 11. Because why? We paid 65 mil for Havertz.
Yeah,
so
seems
why
like Arteta's guy, but it should be a backup. Really should be a backup. But it's frustrating, if anything, that sense that. And if you look at it from a player's perspective, yeah, Noni, he's going to be wanting to obviously make a shout for the England call up at some point. So for him to come in and be happy, I don't
give a shit about these England call ups and all of that. Man. Really,
no, but
Eddie played one game for England as well. Gives a shit.
I know, but I'm looking at it from a player's perspective. Like, for him to be comfortable with coming in, knowing you're going to be a backup, unless other things have been said from Arteta that he might be looking to play in a different role. I don't know. It's very intriguing for me from a player's perspective that why would you come to Arsenal and come and sit on the bench when it's an important season for a lot of players that will be looking to go to the World Cup. So, and he's not going to get in over Saka unless a serious injury happens. He's not going to get in over Saka. I see a lot of you lot
getting over any of them, so I don't think his chances are improved either way. England's hand side is probably one of the most stacked you found it in recent times. Because Palmer can float in off the right, Foden can float in off the right. Saka's already there and he's done his thing for England. So that whole England stuff for me, I mean, it comes down to, would you rather be a backup at Chelsea or rather be a backup at Arsenal? But again, for 50 mil, this guy's probably coming in as our left winger.
Yeah.
Bro, I haven't seen us spend this money on a backup. So why would I all of a sudden think that we're going to do it now when we still need first team improvements? If we're saying Madueke is worth 50 mil, then Real Madrid can turn around and say, well, Rodrygo's worth 120 now. So why don't we try to sort that one out first, or at least try? Because again, we're juggling, right? Everything's in bit part installments, right? It looks like we've spent over 150 mil with all these things. We probably spent 50 mil because of amortization and all of this stuff that goes on there. The reality is it's tight. It's tight again. Once again, we get into the Champions League, then all of a sudden it's tight. Make that make sense.
Okay, yeah. We've got to do super chats, but I do want to get your overall feeling if we signed the players that we're linked to plus Noni, where everyone's head was be at. Because I think if you come up with the striker, you get all the covers and all that, and you have him there. Yeah, it might not be, for me, not too bad of a window as long as you solve that striker situation. And if Noni Madueke is a success, but we'll discuss that after this. Let's get through these super chats. Joseph Phone says, absurd, kudos going, same price. Question, guys, if Noni is surplus to requirements, then why don't we leave him until late in the window and get him on a cheap like 30 million? Should be priorities now.
It seems
it's
like
a good way to look at it. I mean, the club are making it seem like it is because they're going full steam ahead whilst Chelsea are still in the club. Timing is very. It makes Joseph makes a good point because the timing is very odd. I don't know why they are really going full steam ahead for him. When I saw the bid, I was like, oh my god, this is. At first, I wasn't sure if Arsenal were actually doing it or if it was a smoke screen. And so I said yes. I thought it was a bit of a smoke screen to get Ethan to sign his contract, to be like, okay, cool. You're putting up the argument that I want more minutes and whatnot. We'll look to replace you straight away. I thought that's what it was. And then I thought it was a bit of a smoke screen. And I saw the bid. I was like, oh shit, this club they're serious on Noni Madueke. Next one. K Praj 1 says, we are just ready to bid 50 million for Chelsea, Dustin, but won't give 3 extra for a striker, 3 million extra, I'm assuming, for a striker that can get us a title. I totally agree with you, Turkish. It's mental. I still think. Do you think Gyokeres? I can't imagine what will happen if Gyokeres doesn't come to the fan base. I think everyone's head will be on the moon. But do you see that Gyokeres deal happening, Turkish?
It better fucking happen.
Oh, honestly, it will be a dark place. It'll be a dark place going around if you don't sign a striker in the summer window. Manpreet says, does Chelsea have something on Arteta? We do a lot of business with Chelsea.
Quick business at that. As soon as they need some money, it's like we come in and say, yo, we'll take him, man. We'll give you 20 mil more than he's worth. Did the same thing with Havertz. Havertz went there for 65, 70 mil. He didn't work out. All round, he was labelled a flop. And we spent 65, 70 mil on him. The same Nicolas Pepe that came in, I think the same summer, equally flopped at Arsenal, yeah? But guess what he went for in the same year we bought Havertz? Nothing.
Yeah.
And then Madueke now, 30 mil, underwhelming. Arsenal grabbing 50 M's, maybe 55. What? And then these journalists say things that he's prioritizing Arsenal over who? Who wants him?
He probably got the call from Arsenal because it said personal terms agreed so early on. He probably thought, rah, these men are ringing me.
He thought that. Of course. The guy's coming off the bench signing a deal at the same time for Arsenal.
5 years.
Apparently, we can't talk to Rodrygo, who's on the bench every game now.
How old is he? Because his 5-year deal is quite a long.
23.
Okay, so try. Let me just bear with me, people. I'm assuming people say in the comments straight away, to be fair, but 20. Okay, 23. Yeah, it's 23. Okay, so 5-year deal. Right, yeah. They're putting stock in him, Arsenal. There's definitely someone really wants him for some role, which it must be like you said, the left. But boy, we read that one there. Cecil Jolly says, "How the f do you go from Rodrygo to Madueke?"
The same way this fan base, or a lot of the ones fan base online, right? Especially Twitter, that talk out their asses, went from Isak to Sesko in 3 months, because that one was even more wild.
That's crazy, by the way. That one's crazy. That one's crazy. That one's crazy because Sesko is never my number one at all. With the Rodrygo stuff, because of I don't go on Twitter and all that and do the ITK stuff and all that and whatnot. I don't know how serious was that though. Was it an Arsenal actually generally want him? I don't know where it came from, or is it more the Rodrygo? Because I always sometimes feel like sometimes it's the fans that really push. They want someone, and then they latch onto it, like the reporters, the journalists, and it gets clicked. So that's
I'd rather people latch onto names like that than try and latch onto names like Madueke and Sesko and try and make sense of it. You know, because you are right. The Rodrygo rumors have very little foundation to it as well, other than Arsenal need a left winger and he's the best left winger on the market. That's the foundation of it. And if we go by what Arteta said at the end of the season, when asked in this position, it must be nice to go for the world-class players, the best players after Liverpool was signing Wirtz. Arteta said yes, right? He said yes. He spoke of goosebumps next season, right?
Yeah, he said well, and this window, he said, yeah.
And you don't entertain Rodrygo like you didn't entertain Kvaratskhelia. Come on. That is, if people can't see what's going on yet again, once we're back in the Champions League, then I don't know for you. I really don't.
Next one. Leandro says, Berta is playing with emotions, but let's see this in isolation. 50 million to avoid Saka burnout. We've all been hammering them for no backup.
50 mil for a backup doesn't make sense. Yeah, that is so. That's without emotion. 50 mil for a Saka backup when you know how Arsenal play with money, right? Doesn't not make sense, regardless of who that player might be, because you've got Saka there. It doesn't make sense. Right? I like Mbomo, by the way. Yeah, Mbomo's a different level to Madueke, completely different level. Do you remember when Robbie asked me about him at the start of the summer? I said, why? I would have taken Mbomo last summer, the summer before that, and the summer before that, because even when people were saying Tony, I was saying, well, I think Mbomo's the guy. Like, he can be the guy. Yeah, I would have taken him those 3 summers because that's when Saka needed a backup. But guess who came through the scene this season? Nwaneri.
Yeah.
So when Robbie was asking me about Mbomo, I'm saying, like, I like him as a player. He stepped it up again in Tony's absence, but we don't need that player. And he's going for around 60 mil, right? So, no, this one doesn't make sense. Even if I take out emotion from it, it just doesn't. Kudus is another one. Kudus is both footed. He can play across the front three.
Yeah.
He's a different level to Madueke, and he's going 5 mil more. So if the idea is that we need a backup to Saka so much, then go get one of them two because they're better and it's not far off price.
But Kudus isn't going to want to play as a backup though. Same with probably Noni. Kudus wouldn't want to do that. I know that for a fact. But Noni,
Kudus is going Tottenham, bro. I'm sure he would come to Arsenal for to fight for a place. And besides, Kudus' quality, he will take that. He will take the left hand side because he can. Do you get it? He can play across he can do it, and we've seen him do it.
It's the fee that's bugging me. 50 million. It is bugging me because I'm trying to work out. Like I've just checked. He's on 50 grand a week. Noni Madueke at Chelsea, which is, if I'm honest, is that's little money. If they put, I would love to know if we do sign him what they're going to put him on because it shouldn't be. I don't know if I'll be so intrigued. It's quite a, like I said, 50. If you put 50 million, they're going to want more. I think Chelsea will probably reject it. Well, Chelsea might not even reject that bid. They might be like, fucking hell, they've done it. And they might accept it. But I'd be intrigued to see what Noni goes on because you're right. I think it's the fee that's bugging me. Because like I said, if you sign Ethan as a backup to Saka, re-sign him, you're right. I think the obvious thing is backup for Odegaard, where I would love an Eze. And then you got Eze that can also play on the left. So he's versatile. I keep going to Eze because that is the player I really want Arsenal to go for. And I'm still baffled why they're not going for him. But yeah, Noni, 50 million for a backup. Saka, the burnout is definitely something that we've argued about. But like you said, I mean, if Nwaneri's there. So, well, if he signs, he's there. Let me go to this one here. Shayar says, Turkish, where's the Forever Arsenal podcast? I'm depressed. I'm too depressed. Next one. Abdullah says, my opinion on the striker. We wanted Sesko, but Leipzig asked for 90 million. We went for a desperate Victor. I don't like this. Desperate Victor Gyokeres and intentionally left it 5 million short. We're now waiting for Leipzig to act, or we'll just go back for Victor Gyokeres next week. I don't want this. Listen, I don't want Sesko. So I'm doing personal opinion here. I think, and I think people jumped and changed their decisions on Sesko when they said, Arteta, it seems like Arteta's man, he likes Sesko more. We still don't even know how true that is, by the way. And then everyone started saying, Sesko over Gyokeres. I think Gyokeres has always been the better option. I hope they're not doing the whole put all our attention on Gyokeres to then hope that Sesko finally, Leipzig, drop their price and we go for him. That will annoy me personally. Anyway, I don't want Sesko. That's an interesting super chat. I don't think that will happen. I think they will get Victor Gyokeres over the line, especially when the player's refusing to train. He's refusing to play for them. He's asking the president or whatever of Sporting to say, look, I want to go. I'll be surprised if they switch up and go for Sesko. Next one says, Mins Hassan, MZHSN says, honestly, Chelsea are blackmailing us, of course. Why do you explain all the signings and Havertz, highest earner? Chelsea knows something about Arsenal. I don't think they're blackmailing us, but thank you for your super chat. Manpreet says, if Nwaneri is really staying and they still bring in Madueke, that only indicates that they are not likely to sign Eze. Correct. Which that will annoy me. I'll be honest. That will actually annoy me because Eze seems like the right option, especially if you keep Nwaneri. I mean, come on. Amanor says, Turkish, what phase are you on now, bro?
I'm back to
GGMU.
phase 0. I'm gonna need another holiday and another hair transplant soon. So we're starting again, new processes.
Is it that bad? Like,
of
if
course
we
it's that
sign...
bad because the decisions made in June, July, and August dictate what happens come May, right? And May is a long way away. So when you know that what Raheem Sterling, Marino, and Calafiori does for you going into last season, and you got to wait 10 months to see what you already knew was going to happen. It's long doing it again when you've done that for like 18 years already. Do you get what I'm saying?
I hear you. I hear you.
The decisions they make now,
question.
come September, bro, it's the transfer window's closed. No point looking back, Turkish. You remember this from last year? Let's look forward. January. Don't get negative. January. Market opportunities. Oh, our manager said we need a striker. He said that the second week of January. After we went out to United in the FA Cup, we still don't have a striker. So all these men getting paid all this money from manager to director to whoever, what are they doing?
I can't see the comments right now. I'm assuming they're going to be cooking me. The reason why I say is it that bad is because I'm assuming that we do get Gyokeres. That's so when I say is it that bad, I'm putting in full context of, okay, you've got the Kepa backup keeper cool, the Norgard back up again. Zubimendi, good signing for me as well. Will improve Arsenal. We've lost a lot of other midfielder. You get a Gyokeres in there, happy with that as well. And then, okay, Madueke, frustrating. But if he does come in and do well, then, and I mean, doing well now is really getting us over the line because that is, he might not be the signer for that, but Gyokeres, I'm assuming, will be. So that's why I say, is it that bad? Don't get it twisted, Turkish. Last summer you cooked. You had a go at the window. You said what was going to happen. It happened. It didn't work out for Arsenal. I
didn't cook. I smelt the bullshit. It's different. They're cooking, but it was bullshit. For the 18th of 19th year, they've been part owners, shared owners, whatever you want to call it. Shit meals every summer. Shit meals. And we've just got to digest it throughout the season. And most people come out acting like they've had the steak and biscuits that we're craving. Right? Nah, it's shit meals every summer.
Let me go. I'm going to come back. We'll come back to this conversation. I'm going back to KD, the super chat. KD says, kudos for 55 million. Fans wouldn't have complained. Madueke isn't half the player as kudos. Also, we are penny pinching for Mosquera and Gyokeres for 5 million, but willing to pay 50 million for Chelsea reject. Makes me question deals shady.
Weird. It is weird, again, this Chelsea stuff. I'll be honest. It's very weird.
It's strange. Like I said, they're penny pinching right now. I think the Gyokeres, I believe, will get done. I can get egg on my face here. I could be a naive fan here, but I think that will get done. The Mosquera stuff, again, I think.
I want people to deep this, right? Like the Havertz one, yeah, was just imagine that Pepe's got a year left on his contract. He's already flopped, and Chelsea come in with a 70 million bid. Just put yourself in that scenario. It's amazing, right? You'd think,
wait,
what?
So if we wait. Oh,
if
we have Pepe.
If Pepe in his fifth year, a year left on his contract, whatever it was, we get an offer for 70 mil, the same we spent on him 5 years later after we all know it didn't work out. Imagine that feeling. That's the feeling Chelsea fans got from the Havertz one, right? Yeah. And then you have this one, for example, where let's use Fabio Vieira, right? We spent 35 M's on him or 30 M's on him, right? Can you imagine someone coming in this summer and offering 50 million right now? Imagine it. We can't imagine it because the only ones that do it is us. Yeah, that's give me like for like situation.
Fabio went on loan. Let's do another. Let's do who didn't really bit
Lokonga. If you want someone comes 50 million for Lokonga.
They're not at the club. Madueke is at the club. We've seen him in Prem. Someone who's on the bench quite a lot. I mean, we used a lot of our players last season. I mean, I'd even be surprised if that happened with Trossard, if I'm honest.
And Trossard's actually been useful.
Yeah. I'll be honest.
Imagine someone come 50 M's, would all be like, take that. What are you not doing?
Yeah, 20.
But he's been productive.
Yeah, I hear you. 20 million on top of what they signed him for. So 20 million someone coming for Trossard on top of what we signed him for. I mean, we did turn down Saudi. Depends how real they were. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it like that, that does change its perspective a little bit. I can't do Fabio Vieira and Lokonga because they're not here. But players that are bench worthy, and then a club comes in for 20 million more. as a fan, I'd be like, fair, take him. We'll use that money. But and I suppose that's what Chelsea must be going through. Sam Atala says, guys, he's a Trossard replacement and he can play on both flanks. Is he better than Trossard? Probably yes. But then listen, so the fee then is that's where I'm stuck. It's the money. It's the money and the other options. That's why I'm stuck. Because again, if he is a Trossard replacement, like I said, I'll be cool with that. But you're paying 20 million more than what Chelsea paid for him.
Trossard's better than him.
That's a bit mad.
Trossard's better than him, bro. How can you be cool with that? Trossard can play across the front three. He's both-footed. In tight situations, Trossard is probably one of our best players, bro. We bought him for 25 M's. He's on another level to Madueke, if I'm honest with you. This is my frustration. I've got nothing against Madueke. He's good. But we've got better than
another
him that are
far.
Still not good enough.
They're both quite in. They're both hit and miss. I think Noni Madueke is hit and miss. I think
Trossard's better than bro. Trossard is better than Noni Madueke, bro. Come on. You know football, bro. He's both-footed, Trossard. That alone means he's better. Trossard's banged the hat-trick at Anfield. Come on, man. This ain't.
I know. But he's also, because over the season he's been hit and miss. This I'm not saying, but you said he's worlds of, or he's another level. I don't think
Trossard's another level, bro. Another level.
I don't think it's the golf is that.
Madueke is not better than Pepe, bro.
This is a debate.
I don't know if you've frozen or I've frozen, but
no. I was thinking that as a footballer, Pepe is technically better than what Noni Madueke is. However, I think Noni Madueke is quite effective. I think he's quite effective.
What's he affected, bro?
He's quick, bro. He's if he runs in behind, he does score goals.
No, if he's quick, bro. You're quick, bro. What are we doing here?
No, he's quick. He is fast.
Walcott was quick, and I remember. Come on, man.
We can't do that. D Jones says, "I swear this club makes me sick. It's not even about Noni. It's the principle we're talking. We're taking Chelsea leftovers, and the customers fans will lap it up." Okay, we're taking players from Chelsea. Robert Strong says, "Not keen on this at all. Why not Kudus?" I wish Kudus would have. Like you said, he had to go on the left because he wouldn't want to play. He couldn't play on the right because he's not going to play backup for a whole season when Saka's there. It'd be nice to challenge Saka, but because I said this before, I said there's so many games that people will still get minutes. But yeah, Kudus is obviously looking like he's heading to Tottenham Hotspur, which is frustrating. James will not be happy with that because he was a big fan of Kudus. OGN D Brown says there needs to be an investigation into Kroenke's and Clear Lake, or KSC and Clear Lake, i.e. an outside quick Creo Pro we don't know about. 50 million for Noni makes no sense. 10 million over, what's that? Over Val.
Yeah, I mean, and he's even being
10 million overall.
30 million over value.
Or over value. So I was it overall. Okay. It's funny. They're both American owners. Maybe they do some talking away from. No, but I'm sorry. That is far fetched though. If it's like Kroenke saying,
not far fetched. That's probably the most sensitive. That like trying to make sense of it, right? Like all things considered, Havertz as well, and the pace of the moves between us and Chelsea. Like historically, we take ages to make one signing from bid to finalizing, right? How comes with Chelsea, we heard about the Madueke stuff one day, 6 days later, it's looking like we've agreed 5-year personal terms and we're nearly over the line in terms of first bid made, and the first bid is even 30 million more than it should be.
I just think I know
what's going on.
I know they're your employer, so but for me in work, I don't question my boss if things aren't right. So that's like saying Stan Kroenke or Josh, say, because Stan's not gonna have a clue. Stan just signs checks, he's in his farm, whatever. Josh is coming in and spoke to Todd, whatever, and he's coming to Andrea Berta and Arteta saying, "This is who we need to sign. I'll put the money forward for this player," and them just being like, "Yeah, okay, we'll do it. Whatever you say." Like that can't, surely not. Like that's why I just think that can't be the case. That can't be the case. I'm not having that. There's no way I'm having that. OG Bat, we spoke about this already. Sorry, let me go to the next one. Manpreet says, "I'm praying Chelsea rejects our first bid and the decision makers at Arsenal wake up from their drunken slumber. Focus on Eze and Rodrygo, please." The Rodrygo stuff, people, again, I don't know how serious it is. I don't know if it's actually been pushed from the club. Maybe you guys in the comments will let me know. But I still feel like that is a very much, we do this every kind of window. A fan a fan favorite and it's just being pushed because we've latched onto someone, which, like you said, Turkish is not a bad place to latch onto, and they've kind of just run with it for clicks and whatnot. Eze, I think there was some serious talks about it. Obviously, he's got a release clause as well. So, yeah, I mean, that can be done. That can actually be done. Leandro says, Kepa, 5 million, Norgard, 10 million, Zubmeni, 55 million. Raw, Zubmeni, 55 million and fucking Madueke is 50. That's not even that just sounds a bit crazy. Mascara, 20 million, Madueke, 50 million, Rodrygo, 80 million. Eze, 60 million and Gyökeres 65. That equals 345 million. Split over 3 years, unlikely. But do you think we would need to invest again after? Break down those signings, Turkish. Would you be happy with? I mean, that'd be a good win.
Listen, if Gyökeres, Eze, Rodrygo come in alongside Zubamendi already, that's what I judge the window, and everything else would be, you know, over and beyond, filling in the gaps, right? That's where it comes closer to a 7, 8, 9, 10 than it does a 1, 2, 3, 4 window. But the likelihood of us getting Rodrygo, Eze, and Gyökeres on top of Madueke for 50 mil is highly unlikely. The likelihood of us spending 345 mil, even with some player sales taken into account after, is highly unlikely because of the history of Arsenal, and that's what I base it off. There is solid foundation to why I am, you know, emotional about these kind of things, because last year I wasn't. Last year I sat back. It's like chalk and cheese to this year, because last year I said, you know what, we've challenged twice. That was our, you know, best ever season for a long time, having moved into the Emirates. Cool, let's see what you're going to do in the window. I didn't flip until deadline day sterling, right? And we saw how that played out on our season, our worst season since his first season or whatever it was. Yeah, it's not a coincidence. We're back in Champions League. Our last 3 windows prior to this one were poor, right? Poor even in comparison to the 3 of our windows before that, trying to get back into Champions League. The proof's in the pudding. But you are right. If the money is there and you're choosing to spend 50 million on Madueke, Mikel, then I'm sorry. You know, we will find out. You will find out.
Take Rodrygo out. Take Rodrygo out of that, yeah.
You take Rodrygo. I see that list is finished. It's not finished, but it's, you know, it's not the same list.
Fair. Okay, yeah, maybe then. Okay, fair. I'll put my hands up. Maybe I'm a bit wrong then, because I think you take Rodrygo out of that. I still think that's a bloody good win. I think that's a good window. I think that's a good window personally. It's 265 million, which if you take Rodrygo out of that, I think that's actually doable, because we had 200 million to play with anyway. I don't know where we get 65 million in sales from, but maybe the Kroenkes dip into their pocket and spend some of their own money, or you make some of them sales, and if you get those names in to 265 million split over 3. Yeah, I think that's not a bad window, but maybe that's me there. Aminor says, Cecil, will you be vexed if Man United get Ollie Watkins? I'll be honest, I don't know how they've got money, if I'm honest. I don't know how they've got money. I don't think they have no money, but if they find a load of money to get him over the line, they probably will, because like I said, his agent said that Arsenal don't want to pay the money. So Man United are a club to, even though they have no money, find a way to spend ridiculous money on people. So if that's the case, that probably might happen. Will I be vexed if we don't get a striker? Yes, I'm just of the mindset that Arsenal are going to sign the striker I want, which is Victor Gyökeres. Obviously, Esak would have been the dream. It's not going to happen. Victor Gyökeres. So if we don't get a striker, my head will be in the sky. But if we do get a striker, we get Gyökeres and he goes to Ollie Watkins, and Ollie Watkins goes to Man United, I'm not going to be massively angry. I just think Ollie Watkins is a good player. It's a shame we didn't get him
even the people in the chat, yeah.
I can't see the chat, so yeah, go on.
That's cool. I've just seen a few. It might not be a lot of you, but I just want to ask, like, even the people in the chat that, you know, are finding this maybe overreacting, or what do people call it now, rage bait, or too much, yeah. Answer me this, right? Just answer me this question. How does it make sense that what I'm reading now here is that Arsenal's last formal talk to Sporting was on Sunday, right? We were quoted a certain price. It's now Wednesday. Tell me how it makes sense that from Sunday to Wednesday, we've decided to go, you know, full blast for Madueke, you know, seemingly trying to get this one done first. Make sense of that one for me in the comment section, please. I'm just interested. Teach me. I want to learn.
That question is very... I mean, we're coming towards the hour, but why does it matter what order people sign in though?
It does when your club always turns around and says FFP, PSR, we need to sell to buy. The purse strings are tight, right? We've heard
Yeah,
that before many a time. So it does.
as-
Remember, this summer was meant to be unprecedented. It's very
Oh,
precedented right now.
every
Yeah?
summer is war chest. There's always we know that you know this because you must ignore all those things they say when it comes to the summer. Like whatever they say, it's always going to be. And I'm not one to even shit on a club like that. It's always BS when it comes to it. It's just if they sign Noni and they still sign the striker and whatnot. Yeah, for me, as long as we get, I'm happy with that. As long as we get our striker. IK12 says I don't let Arsenal affect my life, but which other serious club will accept this transfer? If you try to understand this deal, you're a customer. No to Madueke. Okay, next one. D Jones, the fall off of the last 20 years needs to be studied. Hashtag vexed. Oh, did I just miss one? I think someone said Arsenal. Sorry, I think I might just miss one there. Wiz says, what the F are we doing? We need to go to London Colney with signs showing the hate. Also, can you tag Arsenal with the 89%? With that 89% no poll. 89% no poll. The outrage. when we went to sign Kai Havertz, I couldn't believe it. That one I think was more shocking than this one. We haven't signed Noni Madueke yet, but I still think that was way more deserves way more outrage than what we got.
Timing, bro. We felt very different after the 22-23 season. We felt like we were back in the big time. We can start talking about league titles. Now we feel like we're on the cusp of it all falling apart. Just 2 years later, yes, but that's how quickly football moves, especially when your players are just signing 4-year contracts at a time to assess the situation, like a Van Persie did once upon a time, Sanchez did once upon a time, or Fabregas did once upon a time, and so on. It's just sickening, man. And then you see Rodrygo on the bench. Fabrizio says next week exit concrete possibility. So what are we? Again, I've seen no one make sense of us not finalizing the Gyokeres deal and going for Madueke. Even if it's finalized the Gyokeres one, get that one over the line. And next week, when you talk to Rodrygo's camp, because we like to be nice, we don't want to ruin good relationships. Yeah, we don't want to affect their Club World Cup dream. So maybe it's that when we talk. Then maybe start, going full force on the winger. Now, if you waited and still went for Madueke, I'd still be as angry as I am now. But make sense of it all for me. I don't get it. Like around the corner, there could be a top winger available. One that could be a difference maker at the highest level, that has been a difference maker across his years at Real Madrid at times, right? So why not hold your horses for that one? Why not you get Gyokeres, Eze, two players we already need, and then wait it out on the Rodrygo stuff or play the game with the Rodrygo stuff?
You just froze it. Oh, you're back. Okay, so he's frozen. How much is they said he said about around 80 minutes. This is the thing. For me, I'm doing the whole, which I never do, because I was frustrated at the beginning of the start of the window. I'm like doing the whole, I'll wait out until at least the preseason starts. So if we sign Noni, we sign Gyokeres, that list before, even minus Rodrygo, with Rodrygo, whatever. If you sign all those players, I'm waiting until that it gets to not even the end of the window, towards preseason as those players are integrated. Then I can assess it and be like, okay, I don't think that's a bad window, even with Noni Madueke. And the chat is probably killing me, and I'm not reading it at the moment. But I'm not saying I'm advocating, by the way, for Noni Madueke. I just think, one, the outrage is too high. I think, in my personal opinion. Two, he's not a bad player. But there's other players that should be way ahead of him, and the fee that we're putting forward for him doesn't make sense. I'm agreeing with that. But I just wanted to clear up the other stuff. The fact that, I'm not campaigning that we should sign him. I'm just like, I question a few things. But if you get all the players that we've been linked to in this window, I think that's a good window. And on toe, sorry, says, you actually think Arteta deals with the finances? It's Berta doing this. He won't spend extra few million on Gyokeres to get the deal, but spend 50 on Noni Madueke.
Actually, Arteta deals with finances. Berta doing this. He won't spend extra for. Oh, you're a gem, mate. You're a gem. Well done. You're a diamond. Crown jewel.
We both know this person. Big up Typhon official. Big up, man. Big up my brother. Typhon, sorry. But Typhon.
Get the Turkish names right, brother, man. Let's do,
brother, you say the name in it, brother.
But you're there jumping the gun, bro. You say your guy, my guy, same thing, but you gotta get it right.
Big up though. Big up. Typhon, sorry. £50 super chat as well, brother. Mental. Thank you. Appreciate that as well, bro. But let me read what you said here. Just seen a tweet. I don't get what Arsenal fans are saying. Madueke will be our last attacking signing. And then Kunku and Jackson are still up for grabs. That's quite a funny. Well, Oh, that's a funny tweet. To be fair, I would say they could never, but you never know. You never know. You never know.
I don't listen. Even if you put them three in a list, I don't think Madueke is top of the list.
No, come on.
That's what's crazy.
No, come on. Bro.
I'm not gonna start entertaining stuff, but I'm just saying to you, like that list is not. That list is not a foregone conclusion. No, it's not. It's not.
Bro, please, bro. One has a fucking balloon in his sock every game and barely gets out. The other one is.
You would love that, bro. Remember when Oba had the mask in his back pocket the whole bloody time, bringing out Europa League, Black Panther.
Turkish piss off. I don't like the balloon in the phone. I think that is the most washed thing ever. Allow that. Jackson as well. I've slated him. That no. I'm good. Listen. I have a good eye when it comes to strikers, in my opinion. We spoke about João Pedro before in the past, but and other players.
Calm down on the Pedro stuff. He only scored a couple goals. Like you're jumping the gun real quick. But I mean, would I rather Pedro or Madueke? Again, Pedro, Adingra, Madueke, Adingra, Kudus. But the reality is, we went into this summer thinking unprecedented. The war chest has finally arisen from Westeros, and we've got the diamonds and the Iron Throne ready to go ham. Goosebumps. Yeah? Goosebumps, Madueke. Like, come on.
He did say goosebumps. He did say that. I don't know why he said that one, but you never know. It could end really strong. Oh, someone's actually brought up perfectly. Robert Strong, goosebumps. More like chicken pox. Big up, lads. We jumping the gun. I don't know. Let's have a look at this next one. OG says it's criminal if they get opportunities in Noni before Gyokeres. But why? If you get Gyokeres, say if you get him, confirm him next week. Am I really the fool that says it doesn't matter what time you get the player, just get the player in my opinion. Maybe listen, shoot me. If I'm
forget about the time. There's no time to be getting Madueke in. That's the problem. Whether it's 12 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m., 24-hour clock, whatever month you want, there is no time for that. That's the problem.
Next one. It is actually OG again. Get the main players before the backups. Okay. That's what he's kind of saying. I mean, we haven't done that at all, really. Well, actually, this window, I mean, Zubmendi, but that was confirmed back in January. But a lot of the time, we've got a lot of backups. But again, for me, I don't care what time. Just get the players in. I don't care what time you do it. Sam D. Saint Croc says, Arteta literally putting himself under pressure recently, saying he needs to deliver. He needs to get the window right. So why would you dedicate 50 million to Noni Madueke? I mean, that's a question. He really doesn't. He needs to ask. He does need to answer. I need to see what else comes in this window. Nosaka says, why should he still come to Arsenal when the fans of the club does not want him? Why is Chelsea selling him if is that good? It's mad. Yeah, the fan base is. I think like I said, there's a petition out. I want to know what that's on at the moment for that. I'll be quite intrigued. But the trending hashtag no to Madueke is flying. Lee Slim says, what we should look into is who came in upstairs before we started buying up these Chelsea players. It feels like there's an imposter in the camp. Well, from when Edu was here, they said when they make signings, everyone has to agree on it. There is one. That's what Edu always used to say to me. It's never a singular person's decision. It's one. So it's getting cleared through everyone before. From what they tell us, it's getting cleared through everyone before they make the signing. Frankie says,
final say comes to Mikel.
Yeah. Frankie says, Madueke means no Rodrygo. Apparently, Arteta wants him to start left wing. Shambles. I mean, yeah, when you put Rodrygo and Madueke up together, that would be silly if you're not going to go for the Rodrygo option over Madueke. Ohan says, the sporting president is watching this Madueke bid and rubbing his hands. This bid makes us look bad when we negotiate with Sporting for Gyokeres. That's a fair point. But I think they'll pay the 5 million. The negotiations happened on Sunday. I know you said it's gone quiet, but I think for me, I personally think it's been sealed and done. Personally, or not sealed. I feel like I know there's stuff saying the 5 million disparity, whatever the gap. I still think the club will find that money and will pay the money for Gyokeres if that's what the club want. That's what I believe, and I hope it is very true. I hope it's true. Jazzy Jeff says Turkish. Can we boot this geezer off on the left? Yeah, that's me. And do 1-to-1 with Turkish. Not that bad. Have some standards. Gen Z or not makes me sick. I'm not fucking Gen Z.
Gen Z. You see what you're sounding like. Gen Z.
Fuck's sake. Makes me sick, this mentality. I'm not advocating for Noni Madueke. I just
Nah, but you're doing something.
I'm
You're
playing
doing
the other
something.
side. I know I'm playing the other side, and I can see it's
Stop playing the sides, bro. Just play real. That's it. Trust me,
bro. That's. I think the outrage is a bit over. I was more frustrated at Havertz than this Noni Madueke stuff. That's what I'm just like.
Yeah, of course.
I just
But this one comes on top of that now, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? That's why it's worse.
Okay, I hear that. I hear that perspective of it, but still,
not worse, but you know, it hits worse.
It hits harder, yeah, because we've done it before. Okay, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, where was this outrage before for when we started Havertz? I don't get it. I think some people going too far. They've messaged him directly on Instagram and stuff and being actually abusive.
Many more people were trusting the process 2 years ago. That's the only difference.
Okay, that's what you're saying. Okay. But okay, yeah. My thing is, if you sign the players that were mentioned that previous super chat ages ago for 345 million, we'll see in it. I don't think that ends up being a bad window. But again, I'm not advocating for him. Esek says, I'm already starting to question Berta. Gyokeres 11 mod says Gyokeres takes a 2 million pay cut. We waste 50 million on this. Yeah, I think that's disrespectful for Gyokeres because he actually is really doing everything he can to get to Arsenal. That just needs to be signed, sealed, and delivered. When I saw that on the weekend, I was like, this is done. But now it just feels like they're messing about. But I'm assuming it's going to get done. Joseph says, Arteta comes across arrogant, thinking he can take these Chelsea rejects and turn them into superstars. Why can't he just go for obviously top-class players? Big up Turkish, most real fan out there. The realist, Luca says, sorry, we've been overrunning quite a lot on this one. Luca says, this is no joke. The worst signing in our history. It blocks Ethan's development, stops us signing Eze, and it rules out any hope for Rodrygo. Idiotic.
I mean,
we've had Willian and stuff. People, come on.
No, but Willian was alone, so I get the.
Okay, fair.
But it would be up there.
I mean, we can go for a load of players. I mean, well, again, we might re-sign Ethan. Ethan still might get minutes. He still might sign Eze. Let's just see. Olu says Turkish needs to chill. Get a job at Arsenal if it hurts you this bad, bro. You are becoming a laughable figure, lol. Compare Martinelli versus Rodrygo stats.
I'm the laughable figure, and then he said compare Martinelli and Rodrygo. What an idiot.
Okay. Amazing James says the club keeps showing our top players that we have no ambition. Big up Turkish and Cecil. Hit the likes, people. Suj, thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate you, and thank you for also modding this chat as well, my friend. This one comes from Leandros. Thank you again. You've been regular in these super chats, Leandros, so thank you. Embremo reject being backup.
Rejected being backup.
Rejected being backup. Fabrizio reported, I think. That was obviously to your point when you were talking about Embremo. Again, that'll be the same with Kudus as well. Like I wanted Kudus, but he's not going to want to come and be a backup. It does sound mad, 50 million for a backup. That does sound crazy. That does sound crazy. That does sound crazy. That does sound crazy. Because and again, you can watch back the live of me and Curtis yesterday. I said that, like, I keep saying the same things I kind of said in this chat, but I said I don't think they're going to do 50 million. I think if you get them for 30 million, it's not bad business. But now that's kind of blown out the water because, well, they've gone 50 million on the bid. Ibi says Madueke touches the ball. That's a good pass. That's a good run. We'll get that like Havertz. If he joins, I'll support him, of course. But man, what is this? What is this?
Yeah, sorry, Willian wasn't a loan. It felt like a loan. It was a free transfer, so that's what I meant. Because I see some people correcting me. Either way, in, out, that's it. This one is 50 M's, potentially more. Yeah, probably 80 to 100K a week. And like someone said, Ethan's minutes will probably dwindle, which could cause problems.
Cameron Brooks says Madueke is just cover. He's just our Trossard replacement. It ain't bad. We need a striker, and that's it. Calm down.
Madueke is just cover. Cameron, how old are you, mate? Probably young. You'll find out. You'll learn. Character building.
You're doing a Gen Z thing to them. So you're Gen Z and these people off, man. They might not be
when
Gen
people
Z.
talk like this, I mean, come on, man. Just
he looks a bit older, that display picture there. He looks a bit older than.
But if he's older, then he's foolish. Then so you might as well just say he's young, man, and just you can excuse it. But I mean, tell me a window where Arsenal have done such a thing to make a 50 million signing, our fifth on the priority list. Show me another window where a 50 million signing has been 5th on the fucking priority list before you send in super chats like this, mate.
It's the price. It is the price tag, because if Trossard does go, we need to get. Well, we need a left winger anyway. Before Trossard going, we need a left winger. But 50 million is a lot. It is a lot. Why sign projects when we can't anyone? Why sign projects when we can't anyone? Brio says, why can't
he's angry, man. He's angry. I get it. Sometimes when you're angry, you just, you miss words, man. You just got to get the frustration out there. I get it.
This was me with, to be fair, I'm being a bit hypocritical here, because I didn't want Sesko, because I was like, I want the now, and I actually think Gyokeres is a better player. So yeah, Noni Madueke potentially a project. Well, Premier League proven just not hit the conversion rate that we probably want in that position. Abdullah says in super chat, we're on course to sign Kepa, Mascara, Norgard, Zubi, Eze, Madueke, Victor Gyokeres, and 8 out of 10 for me. This is me. Rodrygo makes it a 10. No, not a 10. You can't make, nothing can be. I mean, a 10 is, make it a 9 for me. But Zuba, Victor Gyokeres, and Eze are still hot buys. I agree. We forget that we wanted 2 forwards at first. We're in for 3. For me, Abdullah, they'll cane both of us, but that's where I'm kind of at. Listen, we don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to get Eze, get Madueke, might knock off the fact that we get some of these players, but that's where I'm at. If we get those players, I'm not going mad. I'm not going mad. In my opinion, that's just me. Maybe I'm the anomaly, but me and Abdullah, I agree. GG says Mikel talent ID for attacking players is laughable. Yeah, he does well with defenders, but bloody attackers is a pain in the backside. Ryan O'Toole says, so when we are linked to good players, it's Berta is cooking. When it's a poorer player, Arteta is stubborn. Agree with Turkish. It's the owners. What? No, I don't listen. People are gonna say I'm just defending owners, but if the players we get are good, okay, you say Berta, cool, you're cooking, he's doing a good job. But then when they're bad, I still go to Berta. You come in, this is your role. I also look at Arteta as well, because Turkish make a great case. He's the highest paid player. And if I'm honest, from what I know of Arteta, he has the final say. He has a lot of control. I mean, that might have changed when Edu left. I don't know. I think there was an argument why, and the reason for Edu leaving was because of the friction between those two. So I look at Arteta and Berta. I think the owners give them money for them, or the money that they get obviously from the Champions League and whatnot, and that is what their role is, and they put the trust in Arteta and Berta. So I'll always go to them until I think the time's needed. I know you're different, Turkish. So
I'm trying to find out how much Berta is paid. If someone can find out how much is Berta is paid, we can put an end to this who makes the final say at this club argument.
I think unless it's changed. Actually, unless our Berta's come with an authoritative approach, but I still would always go with Arteta. I've seen the way Arteta moves in Arsenal. He's the final say. I feel, from what I know anyway. OG says, for Havertz, I was frustrated. For Noni, I'm livid. Yeah, I'm more the other way around, I think. Niall Joyce 37 says, I was just trying to think. Do I think Noni's a better attacker than Havertz? That's where I'm at. I'll make that decision at some point. I have to look into that. Niall Joyce 37 says, I don't think the Gyokeres deal is happening. Arteta doesn't really want him, as he actually scores goals. Don't forget, we were already the best team in the Champions League, according to the Lego man. Nah, he needs a striker. He'd be going mad if he doesn't get a striker. Brio says, Chelsea must be bigger than us. We buy their rejects. They don't buy Holding, Eddie, ESR. We love the Chelsea subscription. Lazy scouting in reality. Manta says, Cecil, the thing is, it's our last year to get it right. That's why Havertz didn't feel as bad. We are still making the same mistakes. Turkish, I think this is what you were trying to say. To your point, this is what you're trying to say.
Ultimately, if we don't win something this year, something big, tasty, then ultimately it does all come back to what was the turning point, and the Havertz one would have been the turning point. After that first title challenge, you go and do something like that. And you get closer, but then you fall off further. That will be the one that we look at. But he's right. The reason this one's more emotional is because we've become accustomed to being back challenging again. We want to win it now. At that time, we wasn't used to challenging for a title, and we had just done it once. So we was like, all right, Rice is coming in. Havertz is a bit of a shock, but let's see what. Remember that whole let's save him, let's save him, let's save him. Remember all that bull?
The rehab home. The rehab home. I hear you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Harry Lawrence says 50 million is a joke. We need another winger as well. You sign Ethan. You get Noni. I mean,
Noni's not a left winger, bro, so it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. D Jones says Turkish, stay on these man neck, trying to gaslight man. Stay on the neck. Right, that is it for the super chats. We have we could go live and probably speak for ages, but I'm gonna bring it to a close. I'm not even gonna read through the chat because they're probably just firing hell of bullets at me, but all good. That is, well, the news is obviously what the title says, controversial. Madueke bid submitted. It was £50 million from Arsenal to sign Madueke. I mean, see how it is. I'll summarize and before I go. Such says, don't be hard on Cecil. Must be jet lagged. I'll be honest. Houston and San Jose, 8 hours behind, 6 hours behind. I'm tired, but it is what it is. My thing is, I think the outrage is a lot more than I expected. It's not a bad player. Doesn't make sense though. The price is crazy. I hope it doesn't. If it blocks other players like an Eze or a potential Rodrygo, mainly Eze, I will be angry. I'll be very angry. But if we get those players in on top of what we have already and a Gyokeres, for me, I'm fine. That's where I'm at. Turkish, any closing words to the people then? Any closing words for what you've seen and heard today in the Arsenal news?
Go subscribe to Turkish LDN.
He's going to blow up on his channel. Subscribe to Turkish LDN. And again, we'll be back, I'm assuming, next week, Wednesday. James is away at the moment. There'll be a call-in show. I wish this was a call-in show. This would have been a good call-in show to have. It's a shame we went out to facilitate that for today. But hopefully next week, Wednesday, we'll be back. And again, my live with Curtis will be back as well. Thank you, everyone, that's joined us for this live. Take care. We'll see you soon. Love.